Time now for The Real Estate Connection with Stephen Theard, a realtor and certified probate and real estate specialist. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor looking to downsize, move up, or refinance, this program is for you.
A house in the middle of our street.
From probate sales to landscape design to home repairs and maintenance, this is your weekly look into all things real estate. Now your host for The Real Estate Connection, Stephen Theard.
Hey everybody, big round of applause for you. Thank you for joining me today on another episode of The Real Estate Connection, brought to you by our sponsor, Good Patriot Realty. A salute to home ownership. You know, we're in that funny time of the year again. We've just had a bunch of holidays in May. May seems to be like a really busy month. We've got Mother's Day. I had my mom's birthday. And then we're graduation season. There are graduates all over the place. It's being kicked off by the college graduates from all over the United States. And then it will be rounded off by the high school graduates and junior high graduates moving on to their next levels. And then we'll have Memorial Day and Father's Day. So it's a really, really, really busy time of year. And so with that, we have changes in the market and all kinds of turmoil going on around the world. So I thought today would be a great day to revisit a topic, the benefits of home ownership. I know things seem unsettled out there, but this is a really good time to talk about it, as people may be getting protectionary with their money and pulling in. There's still a great benefit to owning real estate. And if you've new to the show, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining me. And if you find this information useful, let me know, because I always like feedback. And if you want to be part of the show and provide comments, I can see them popping up on my screen on Facebook. But like the show, share it out. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, smash it. It helps my numbers. And subscribe so you never have to miss an episode. Ring that bell button. You'll get notified when I come on. And also, if you want to just be on the podcast distribution list, send me an email at info@realestateconnectionradio.com. That's info@realestateconnectionradio.com. You can find me on Podbean and also Apple Podcasts. Just look for the title and that logo up there in that corner, right up there. Look for that. All right. And so real quick, since I'm the host of the show and I have a little bit of creative license here, I'd like to congratulate my son, Curtis Theard. Here we go. That's him. That's the young man. I'd like to congratulate Curtis. He's graduating from St. Mary's College in Moraga this weekend on Saturday. I couldn't be more proud. I love you, son, very much, and congratulations. Round of applause to you for all the hard work that you're putting in, getting a degree in business. And congratulations to all the other graduates out there who have put in all that hard work and dedication and stuck to it and never quit. Congratulations to all of you guys too, and may God bless you and provide you with his peace and also direction, that may shine his light on your path and guide your steps into success, not only in whatever endeavor you're going into, but also in life and relationship. So let's jump right on in. So we're talking about the turmoil in the world and how it'd be a great time to talk about the benefits of home ownership. And one of the first ones, one of those benefits with a lot of turmoil, right? There's instability and there's unrest and there's just that anxiety out there. But when you own a home, you have stability and you know what your fixed expense is going to be for your home expenses for rent. So, you know, what I like to tell people is you're gonna pay a mortgage no matter what. All right. You're going to be paying your mortgage or somebody else's mortgage. So whether you're renting an apartment out of a large apartment building, you're contributing to the apartment owner's mortgage or his profit if he owns the property outright. If you're renting a condo or you're renting a room out of someone else's house, you're contributing to that owner's mortgage. And then if you're renting, you have an error of instability, right? So we're talking about your rent going up, or maybe that person deciding to sell their property. And then all of a sudden, your world gets turned upside down, not because of your choosing, but somebody else's choosing. And all of a sudden, you're looking at trying to find another place to live. So if you're looking for stability in times of instability, knowing what your payment is going to be for housing and knowing where you're going to live and be able to lay your head every night is one of the strongest benefits to home ownership. Now, the news keeps harping on the fact that the cost of real estate is going through the roof and it's so expensive to buy a home in the United States of America and all that other good stuff. But what they're missing and leaving out is that one, you can buy a home in the United States of America, where in some countries you're not allowed to own property. The government owns everything, and maybe you get a long-term lease, or the government dictates where you live and where you can't live, right? So here in the US, you can buy a house. Also, what the news is not talking about as far as housing prices going up and how it's so expensive to live here, they're not talking about the cost of rent that's going up as well. Okay, so we don't live in a bubble. It's not just the acquisition of real estate that we're talking about. We're talking about everyone needs a place to lay their head at night, and the cost of rents are rising as well. So when you own your house, you're locking in the cost of your housing for 30 years. You don't have to worry about your rent going up. You don't have to worry about somebody selling the property out from underneath you. And you have your fixed cost for the next 30 years. And what does that do? That hedges against inflation. That's another thing that we're dealing with in the economy right now is the unprecedented amount of inflation that we're dealing with right now, from gas prices to food costs to fuel and heating costs, transportation all over the place. Um, Inflation is going up. However, when you buy a house and you lock in a mortgage for 30 years, over time, if inflation goes up and up and up and rents are rising and everything else is rising, your payment for your house is fixed. You can ask your neighbor or your parents who have maybe lived in a house for 20 plus years, and you look at what they're paying in mortgage compared to what somebody else is paying in mortgage today, and that's evidence of that hedge against inflation. Um, to be able to have to rebuy your house in a high cost of living marketplace like New York or say Virginia, California, or even Hawaii, you may not be able to do it if you were having to rebuy your house today for what it's worth versus what you paid a long time ago. But because you made that decision to purchase a home and make that investment for you and your family, you can afford to stay where you're at and reap the benefits of the investment. So we're going to talk about, besides the hedge of inflation, um, the building of wealth. So when you buy a house, right, it's like a savings account, so to speak. You're saying, Stephen, buying a house, how's that a savings account? I'm paying these mortgage out every month and it's a cost. Well, every time you make a mortgage payment, you're paying down the principal or the dollar amount of how much you owe. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you own the house outright. That's a savings account. You're paying basically yourself. You're paying the mortgage off, but at the end of the day, you will own an asset. That asset retains value, and in a lot of places in the United States of America, that asset is growing in value. So as you're paying down the loan and then you own the property, then you have an asset that you can leverage off of. You can borrow against it, you can sell it and get the gains out of it and use it for other things. A lot of people will leverage their home to go buy investment properties and other places around the United States, so that they can create more wealth over time. You buy an investment property, and then you rent it out. It's maybe paying, you rent in more than what you owe in a mortgage, and you're pocketing the cash, you're paying down the mortgage, and you're making a profit. It's called debt leveraging. A lot of the people who are very wealthy in the United States use debt in order to grow their wealth. One interesting fact about debt is that the United States of America, the federal government, does not tax debt. So if you borrowed $1,000,000, you're not paying taxes on that $1,000,000. It's debt. There's no tax on it. So you can use that to invest in other things and grow your portfolio and increase your generational wealth. So that's the other thing. It used to be that only landowners in the United States of America had any say in government. And so landowners were very prestigious in the country early on. And it's still that way today. Buying property or buying land is the first step towards creating generational wealth for you and your family. If you you need a place to live up until the moment you take your last breath. So you hold a house, you live in it, you save it, you have it, you pass away, it goes on to the next generation. They maybe can sell it and then use it to buy multiple properties and increase the wealth. But buying a home creates generational wealth. And what's the other thing that buying a house does? Buying a house actually helps improve the community that you live in. So when you're renting a property, it's not really yours. You don't have that personal investment that you have into a home. You're renting it, it's temporary, you don't own it. You're going to maintain it to make sure that it's a nice living situation for you and your family. But when you own a property, you're investing into that property that you live in, which means you're going to take better care of it. You're going to maintain the landscaping on the outside, the grass. You're going to want it to look nice. It becomes something that you're proud of that you own. And so when you're proud of something that you own, you take better care of it. And then when everybody else on the block is doing the same thing, it increases the value of the real estate in the neighborhood, because when people come through, they go, wow, this is a great place. The houses are well maintained. There's families here. It's quiet. I can relax. And then people find that area desirable and want to buy into it, which creates value. Value is basically what somebody is willing to pay to acquire something. So if they see it from the outside and they experience strong, positive, emotional feelings about the area, then that builds value into the property besides the cost of the land and besides the cost of replacing the materials in order to rebuild. There's an intrinsic value that gets built when you own property, and it's called pride of ownership. And so that's another thing that has a benefit. That's a benefit of home ownership. Also, it teaches the next generation. So what normally happens is if somebody in the family owns a house, like a parent, then the children will try to attain to the same level, meaning that your children will buy houses and housing, then their children will buy housing and housing, and it creates more wealth within the family. So they're going to copy what the parents do. So if you're successful and you work hard, you pay off your house and maybe buy an investment property, then your kids are going to copy you. And instead of maybe buying one, they buy two. And then their kids copy them. And instead of buying two, they buy three or four. And then what it does is it grows the wealth of the family, which creates stability. So if there's people that get born into the family that have needs or have financial needs that they need help, the family has the wherewithal to come alongside of the family members and support them and provide extra wealth for them. So these are just some of the benefits of home ownership, and we tend to uh, shy away from this when the economies get weird, rates start to rise, cost of goods to live start to go up. But in a changing market like this, in a volatile market, there's always opportunity, and the smart money tends to get into markets when they start to come down. So if you're a buyer in this marketplace, even though you're saying, hey, interest rates are up, they're higher, I can't afford as much house, you're not alone. Everybody is in the same boat. So the boat rises when the tide goes up, and all boats come down when the tide comes down. So when this happens, there are less buyers for each higher area for buying a house. So, for instance, if you used to be able to afford $900,000 for a house, and because interest rates have gone up, you've been dropped down into the $700,000 range, there are a bunch of people that have gone the same direction, which means sellers have a smaller buying pool to deal with. So, those who have to sell are going to probably negotiate with buyers, and you're not going to be having to go over asking. You're not going to have to accept houses as is. You'll be able to get repairs done. There'll be less competition in the marketplace, and you'll be able to get into housing a little bit easier, at least in the Bay Area. In some markets, we'll see some slight price reductions as buyers leave certain price points, and there's less buyers available for those houses. And so, in order to get them sold, we may see small incremental price adjustments. I'm not talking about a housing bubble or a crash because there's too much equity in the market, meaning there's a lot of cash behind these houses. And what sellers will do is if they ultimately can't get their price, they'll maintain their property and keep it for an investment, which is exactly what you would do if you had $100,000 or $200,000 sunk into a house. You would not just walk away from it and let the price of the house come down too far. You'd keep it and do other things in order to get your goals accomplished. And so what you'll also see is a lot more investors getting into the marketplace and doing rentals. So that's some other spin-off, and I got off onto a tangent, but that's some of the things that'll happen when the forces of the market start to push back because of what we're dealing with in instability in the financial market. All right, so what else is the benefit of owning a home? Building a strong credit history is another benefit of owning a home. So you can have a lot of credit cards and be paying them off and even having a car loan. And your credit score will rise to a certain level. But when you buy a house and you make your mortgage payments on time every month, your credit goes through the roof. You'll start to see those 800 credit scores when you're paying your credit cards off, you're keeping your balances low, and you're making your mortgage payment. It's just a really good way to build strong credit. And what's another strong reason for owning a house? When you rent, you can't customize. You can't knock down walls. You can't paint things the way you want. You can't remodel backyards. And why would you want to? Why would you want to improve somebody else's property with your dollars? So when you buy a house, that affords you the ability to do things that fit your lifestyle. So if you are a water person and you want a pool in your backyard, you can go ahead and do it. If you don't want a pool but you're a hot tub person, you can put a hot tub in your backyard. If you want to make an outdoor kitchen or an outdoor barbecue space, or put grass in the backyard, or put pavers, or you're a gardener and you just want to develop a small farm in your backyard and grow nothing but vegetables and food, you can do that. Customization is one of the highest benefits of owning a home, and then that adds value because there are other like-minded people out there. And so if you're doing things that improve the value of the home through customization, you'll reap those benefits not only for your lifestyle and your living, but also building value into your home. And that's another area of a benefit of owning a home. The other one, and the last one that we'll probably touch on in this show, and there's more, is privacy. So when the pandemic hit, what a lot of people found out is living in condos that are stacked up in buildings wasn't as private as they thought it was. It's pretty private when everyone's leaving in the morning to go off to work, and those units are sitting empty, and you're all spending time together in the evening, cooking and sleeping, and then all leaving again in the morning. But when people were sitting inside of condos and townhouses all day long, every day, and not able to go anywhere during the shutdown, and you were listening to your neighbors and their kids and all that good stuff, you found that you wanted some extra privacy. You wanted to be able to go outside, sit in the backyard, and enjoy the sunshine, and have that ability to do that without your neighbors watching and doing everything that you were doing. So that's when the housing market just took off, and no one expected it during the pandemic. But that's a really strong benefit for buying a house, is having privacy, safety, being able to lock your doors, shut your shades, have fences around your backyard, and even if you want, go buy land remotely where you don't have neighbors. So privacy is a big deal when it comes to the benefits of home ownership. So just wrapping it all up, no matter what, you're going to pay a mortgage. So it might as well be your own. Reap the benefits. Lock in your cost of housing for the next 30 years. So when values of everything else start to skyrocket, at least you're not having to worry about your rent going up. You also have stability. You don't have to worry about somebody raising your rent or deciding to sell the property that you're in, and then you've all of a sudden got to move out of the clear blue sky. You're going to build generational wealth. You can use the equity in your home and leverage that towards buying additional investment properties and building your real estate portfolio. And then there's privacy and customization and pride of ownership, which increases the value of the neighborhood that you're living in. All of those are strong, strong, strong benefits of home ownership. Do not let the instability in the economy or the world that you're living in stop you. Do not let interest rates going up stop you. We've always sold houses back when interest rates in the 80s were in the teens, all the way down to the recessions, and when they came down to below 3%. People still need a place to lay their head. So why not use your house and the place that you live and the place that you to lay your head as a place to build wealth and stability for you and your family? And before we go, I'm going to leave you with this. It's Joshua 1:9, and this pertains to right now, because those people who step out in this environment to buy a house still are doing these things. Be strong, be strong, be courageous, have courage, be courageous. Do not be afraid, because when fear sets in, you stop in your tracks and you don't move forward. You don't do the things that you know you should be doing. Don't let fear lie to you and tell you that everything's going to go wrong, because it's not. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Don't let what's going on in the world discourage you from getting the things done that you need to get done for you and your family and moving forward in life. And this is why, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And that's the truth. God will be with you. Just cry out to him and he will answer. So I'm going to leave you with that. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the United States of America. We'll see you next week on another episode of The Real Estate Connection, brought to you by Good Patriot Realty. A salute to home ownership. If you have any questions about your particular fact pattern and you want to buy a house and jump into the market and be strong and courageous, give me a call at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week on another episode of The Real Estate Connection.
This has been The Real Estate Connection with Realtor and Certified Probate and Real Estate Specialist Stephen Theard. Licensed Cal BRE number 0170019. For more information on this program, visit realestateconnectionradio.com. To contact Stephen directly, call 408-472-0817 or email info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And be sure to tune in next week at this time for The Real Estate Connection.